do a little bit of singing before. Everybody should join. In sadhana, when we do sadhana, like if I prostrate to the Guru, the Guru doesn't get blessings. I get blessings. Correct or not? In the same way, if I sing the name of the Lord, I get blessings. Huh? Not the Lord. He doesn't need any blessings. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. अब गाइए. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam. सब गाइए. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. 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 Shri Krishna Sharanam. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. 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 सब गाइए. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. 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 Shri Krishna Sharanam. Shri Krishna Sharanam Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Sharanam Mama. Krishna Kanaya Lal ki. Om Parthaya Pratibodhinam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashaധ്യായിനി Amba Tvamanusantatthami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishal Buddhe Ullarvindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharatatena Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapane Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Tuhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Suthir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Hari Om. Okay. So our Srimad Bhagavad Gita is divided broadly into 3 sections. The first section is called as Karma Yoga. The second section is called as Bhakti Yoga. The last section is called as Jnana Yoga. So the last section will start then, if they are divided equally into 6 chapters, groups of 6 chapters, the last section will start chapter 13. So I have here chapter 13 in front of me, and I will chant the verse, and then I'll tell you where exactly it is starting, what exactly is going on in this chapter. Let me chant this verse for you. All right, one more thing. In between these verses, I will leave space for you to chant the name of Bhagavan. Because you don't have the Gita in front of you, you might not be able to chant the verses itself. You can give her that. And so you also can chant the name of the Lord as we go along, right? Okay. Now, this morning also I was telling you there in our Chinmaya Mission, we chant, like that, slow chanting and all. But when Bhagavad Gita reached Trinidad, they put some pepper into it. And pepper has pep. So in Trinidad, it's chanted, we chanted a little bit different and all that kind of thing. So you can also join that. Huh? All right. Trinidadians felt that it was a little bit too sattvic, So they put some rajas into it. All right. And it's a battlefield, so rajas is required there, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita is battlefield or not? Yeah. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna, 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 Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna,
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
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 Idam Shariram Kaunteya.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
Kshetramidhyabhijiyate.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
Etadyo veditam prahu.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
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 Krishna Kanaya Lal ki jai. Idam Shariram Kaunteya. Bhagavan is telling to Arjuna, hey Kaunteya, Idam Shariram, this body, Kshetram iti abhitiyate. This body is known as the Kshetra. Kshetra means field. Right? I'm just telling you simple and then we'll get back to that. Then, etadyo vetitam prahu. But the one who knows this body, the one who is experiencing the body, the one who is seeing the body, the one who is perceiving the body, etadyo vetitam prahu kshetrajna. He is called as kshetrajna. Jna in Sanskrit, jnaha is the one who knows. So, kshetrajna means he who knows the body. So now you know your body or not? We all know our body, isn't it? And actually we know our body better than anybody. And we know if there's a little pain in your last little toe also, you know. So whatever is seen or experienced or perceived as body, that thing is called as the, including all the thoughts and all that which is inside the body. That is called as kshetra, field. Just like when you look out on a field outside in the world, you're seeing, you're the spectator and you go on the baseball field. So everything which is happening there, you know. So now we come closer to home, this body and all the things going on inside, that is the field. But there is one who is the knower of this field. He is called a kshetrajna. So now when Bhagavan introduces the 13th chapter like this, in the first verse itself, what he is doing is he is making a general broad classification which is to be found throughout the Vedic tradition, and the whole Vedas are everywhere. And that is called as Dvandva, which you all know and which you experience every single day. So in this Dvandva, what is there? Well, at the highest level, Bhagavan is telling here, there is the field and there is the knower of the field. And another way to say this, at this highest level, is called as there is Jada, that which is known, and there is Chetan, consciousness, that which is the knower of that which is known. And that duality, because it is there at the highest level of the manifestation, that duality is now also now trickles down to every single thing in the universe. So in the universe, you know duality, duality, duality. And Bhagavan himself calls it Dvandva Sansar in Bhagavad Gita. Everything, like there is in your life joy, there is, if there is joy, there will also be, if there is in this world hot, there will also be cold. And if there is affluence, there will be poverty. If there is peace, there will be unrest, the other thing, the opposite of peace. Or if there is peace, there will be pieces. So, the world also has this duality running in and through. Now, When Bhagavan introduces, there is a field and there is a knower of a field. There is, and in other places in Shastras and all, there is Jada, which is inert, and there is Chetan, which is consciousness, which is aware of the Jada. Jada thing, right? Because the Jada thing cannot know anything. This microphone cannot know me. The microphone does not know me, but I know the microphone, right? So when Bhagavan introduces like this, then we say, yeah, but what is this? In Sanatana Dharma, we hold that there is a duality, there is a uniform duality or constant duality in the whole universe. There are two things then. And you are the same people who go on telling there is only one thing. We say in the Upanishads, Ekameva Dvitiyam Nanasti Kinchana, the Upanishad says. Or in this Bhagavad Gita, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. All this is Vasudeva. So there is only Vasudeva, everything is Vasudeva. Now how you came up with a duality? You came up with Jada and Chetan, two things. You came up with Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Again, two things. Well, now to answer that type of question, I will have to tell you a lot of Vedanta. You are ready for all of this Vedanta, I hope. Okay. Now please listen to this. And the objective of all of this is for me to come to know who or what I am. Because we live in a Bhagavan calls it Dvandva Moha. Dvandva Moha, the delusion of duality. So, if you see yourself and you ask what you are, well, people will come up with all sorts of answers. And those answers go on changing also. At one time you call yourself Indian. Now you call yourself American. So, what are you? Indian. No, now I am American. So you changed. We go on changing. We keep jumping from this side to this side. And sometimes when people are Republican, sometimes they jump to Democrat. Sometimes they jump from Democrat, they become Republican. People go on changing. Change is the nature of the world. Anyway, so in that change, we get all deluded and all, and we really don't know what we are. And today it's becoming worse and worse. People don't know what they are. And more so than Vedanta is required. So now listen to this. I'll give some example, and you become more clear about this. Just close to our Trinidad ashram, there is a little village called Chandan Nagar. Chandan Nagar. And there, they have a lot of people living there who specialize in pottery. They take clay from just down in the adjoining village. And with those clay, they make all sorts of things in their shops. And they sell beside the highway and all that. So now if you walk into this potter's shop, that, clay maker's shop, there, you have a choice in the way in which you look at the things in that shop. You say that in this shop there are many, many things, like he has made out of clay. He has made a dog and an elephant and a cup and a plate and a spoon and a pot and so many. There are many things in that shop, right? But if you look from another standpoint, there are not many things in that shop, because when he went to the adjoining village, he did not bring many things. He only brought clay. You correct or not? He brought only clay. And he came to this village and then he made many things. So now, in that shop, if I touch a dog, we say, I touch one thing. Then I move my hand and I touch an elephant. I touched a second thing. That is only from one standpoint, isn't it? From another standpoint, I can also say, oh, just now I touched clay only. Now I touch clay only. And do you know, if you do a little bit of vichar, a little bit only of vichar, we'll come to realize that the appellations which we give, dog, elephant, pot, plate, spoon, if you come to do a little bit of vichar on that, you will realize that those things are only called as nama rupa, names and forms, right? And Bhagavan Shankaracharya at some other place, he tells Abdhau Phena Divat Sarvanama Rupa Prasarana. That really speaking, all these Nama Rupa, they are mere appearances only, they are not real. Because which is more real? To say that I'm touching elephant or to say that I'm touching clay? Think like that also first. Which is more real? It is actually to say I'm touching clay is more real than saying I'm touching elephant. You know why? I'll tell you this. So now you say, there are three things on the table. Nama, which is called elephant. Rupa, with four legs and tail and trunk and all, that's called form. And there's clay. So there are three things in that object. So I remove only one thing. I'm going to remove clay only. We are saying there are three. I'm removing one. Only clay. Atom by atom, and I keep it aside. So when I'm finished removing all the clay from that object, the other two things, Nama Rupa, what happened to them? Well, if there were three things and I removed one, the other two should have stayed there, isn't it? That means what? If I remove one, it means, and if everything disappears, then it means to say that there was only one in the first place. So the vision or the perception which all of us have is only of Nama Rupa in this universe. And in the shop, the building block for every Nama Rupa there in that shop is called a clay. In the very same way, the building block in this universe is given the smallest, tiniest little word in Sanskrit. That thing is called as Sat. Sat. Sat means existence. Existence is the building block of the entire universe in which we are living. And everything is only Nama Rupa Prasarana. Name and form superimposed on existence. Now I want to tell you one more thing, because people ask this in Sanatana Dharma, we only have one thing in the universe. And that one thing, when we say like this, the first question that comes in people's mind from other religions and all that, oh, so if there's only one thing, then that same one thing is there in all the evil people and all the bad things in this world, and the same one thing makes up all the good things in this world also. So you mean that one Sat, Satchitananda Brahma, that is there in all the evil things and all the good things. We say, yes, what is the problem with that? And no problem. I look here. If that clay, that potter, he brings this clump of clay and he splits it in two, right? And from the two clumps which he has in his hand, now one clump he makes Ram and one clump he makes Ravan. Okay. Does that clay become evil because I superimpose the name and form of Ravan on it? No. If this clump of clay was sweet or saline or whatever it was, when I split it in two and I make Ram and I make Ravan, that superimposition of that name or form does not do anything to that clay. It remains sweet or saline or whatever it was before, isn't it? So it is Nama Roop which carries all of these various types of appellations and names and what you call that, feelings and emotions and all that sort of thing. But the building block, which is Sat or existence for this universe, is untouched. Like this, if a snake appears on a rope, does the rope ever become poisonous? In the same way, you superimpose Nama Roop on the clay also does not become good or evil. You superimpose all these various names and forms which we have now in this universe, infinite in number. Nothing happens to Paramatma. That existence is such, no matter what you superimpose on that existence, it remains as it is. Like, for example, I'm sure all of you would have seen in movie from, well, those who are my age and all that kind of thing. That movie, what you call Sholay. And one side that Gabbar Singh is there. And that other side that Amitabh Bachchan is there, remember? Hare Samba. Everybody will remember the dialogues also. Kitne log the. So now see, that light is coming out from that projector and projecting on that screen. And at one moment, that light is taking the form of Amitabh Bachchan. And another moment, that same light is taking the form of Gabbar Singh. Does that light become good or evil by that? No. The light remains as one uniform light all the time, isn't it? And it doesn't become good or evil. In the very same way, Paramatma, taking on all the names and forms in this universe, does not become good or evil. These the names and forms which are given that, and because we live in a relative world, now you all know, if you apply a little bit of Einsteinian relativity and all of this, good and evil is only from a certain standpoint, correct or not? Rich and poor is only from a certain standpoint. Hot is only from a certain standpoint. Relative to something else. Everything is relative. So relative to where you are standing, you call it by this or call it by that, but it is none of those things. So, the one reality is what is appearing as the duality, which you know in the duality. Now see here, Bhagavan is introducing Kshetrajna, the one who knows, and the thing which is known, which is called a Kshetra. But you have to remember now that it is the same Paramatma which has manifested as a Kshetrajna and manifested as Kshetra. So now, in that kind of arrangement, what is really going on, you know? Paramatma is seeing himself. The Lord is seeing him. He has manifested as a seer, and he is manifested as the seen. And this is given very nicely in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Etasmat Akasha Sambhutaha. From that comes Akasha. From Paramatma comes, manifests first Akasha. Akashat Vayu, Vayor Agni, Agni Rapaha, Adbhya Prithvi. Like that. All the elements manifest from that reality. Then the elements, they split and recombine and all space, air, fire, water, earth and all, you know, right? They split and recombine and all of that. And then they become grossified. And those 5 elements are now used to form all the things in the universe. And that's from that same reality come the 5 elements, and that same reality now reflects in those 5 elements, and in some of them it reflects well to make that thing appear jivit, make that thing appear alive, and in some of them they appear not alive, which is called inert. But you have to remember, the 5 elements made this. The 5 elements came from Paramatma only, and the one who was manifested inside of them to make them alive and all is same Paramatma. It's not 2, still 1. Now, one more thing let me tell you before I continue there. You can take the clay and you can make dog and elephant and duck and, you know, spoon and plate and cup and all that kind of thing, right? But can you go on making an infinite number of things from clay? Well, no. I mean, take clay and make a thought. How you do it? You can take clay and make a duck, an elephant. But you cannot take clay and fashion a thought or an emotion. Take clay and make happiness and show it to me. You can't. In other words, clay can be fashioned into a finite number of things. Finite number of things. But Sat is so versatile, existence is so versatile, it can be fashioned into infinite number of things. Any number, inconceivable also to us. That is the difference. That Sat, that existence, can be fashioned into anything. And really, because Sat also is infinite, the number of things fashioned out of Sat is also infinite. This universe is infinite. Now, astrophysicists and all, they are telling so much more about this universe. There is no end. There is no end. We belong to one Milky Way, and there are about 2 trillion Milky Ways. Please see the numbers, astounding numbers. There are about 2 trillion Milky Ways or similar in the observable universe, they are telling. That is where they can observe right now. And in our Milky Way, there are more than 2 or 3 billion suns like ours. In our one Milky Way. 3 billion suns. And around our sun, there are these 8 or 9 planets. Huh? We cannot even conceive of what we talk about infinite universe is. It's way beyond our mind, comprehension. So, all of this is fashioned from existence. There's another way for you to just see this existence. What is that? A very easy thing. Look here. This exists or not? It exists. This microphone exists? Yes. You exist? Yes. Between you and I, there's space. The space exists or not? Right. That means to say, this universe is made up of a string of unbroken existence only. Because you cannot show me something that doesn't exist. Show me something that doesn't exist. But we can't. Everything in this universe exists. It is an amazing thing. Even non-existence exists. Non-existence also exists. See, I just conceptualize something in my mind so that I can vocalize it. I conceptualize non-existence and then I vocalize that concept which I had in my head. Right? And I call it non-existence. So that thing, if I conceptualize it, it is there in my head as a concept or not? It is there. So there is actually no such thing that corresponds to non-existence. To the word non-existence, there is no such thing that corresponds to that. Because I have to conceptualize it before I can say it. And therefore there is only one unbroken existence. He exists. Sat, he sat. And science actually coming very close. When they ask, now see, what is this? This thing is a microphone. What is microphone is made up of? This is made up of molecules. What the molecules are made up of? It is made up of atoms. What are the atoms made up of? Electrons, protons, neutrons. What are they made up of? Strings and quarks and neutrinos and this, and then go down. And then finally what is that? One common energy field. One common energy field from which all the subatomic particles are coming. And also going. And that common energy field way down below, we call in Sanskrit as Shakti. But beyond Shakti, there is Shiva also, na? Energy Shakti. But where there is Shakti, there is Shiva. So that Shiva is called as Sat Chit Ananda. That Shiva is pure existence. It means the same Shakti at its fundamental level is only Sat. Nothing else. Out of the Sat Chit Ananda, I'm using only one word, Sat. No need to go on using all three. You can analyze from different standpoint or not. Use one word and then get everything clear, and then you can bring in all the other words and all that. So Sat, existence. So there is existence, the building block of the whole universe. And they're proven very easily by the fact that you cannot show me something that doesn't exist. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita there is a most wonderful line. You should remember this line and reflect when you have time. He said, Arjuna telling about Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarvaha. Because you pervade everything, you are everything. Because Sat, existence pervades everything. This exists. This exists. This space exists. Existence pervades everything. Therefore, everything is existence. So, when I get this basic idea clear in my mind, and I sit like this now, I close my eyes and I go inside. Oh, some thought comes up. I say, oh, this thought exists or not? This thought exists. Even if inside, if I see too much of space also, the space exists or not? Inside, if I see any emotion coming up, the emotion exists or not? Emotion exists. So inside of me, everything I can see is made up from the same one existence and nothing else is there. Really, if you reflect on this thing well, you will come to realize that my nature is nothing but pure existence. So knowing thyself requires this type of thing. Now see where it starts. It starts with this duality which Bhagavan is telling, that there are two things. And then when you start asking questions, your own scriptures seem to contradict it. He's telling there are two. And the scripture says there is only one. So how can there be one if he's telling there is two? He himself will tell there's two. There's only one in other parts of this Bhagavad Gita. But vichar has to be done like this. Our vichar, and vichar actually is so important for a human being, for all of us. Vichar means again and again reflecting on the truths of the scriptures. So I sit inside. Oh, anything I see, I know it is made up of existence. But then there is a seer. There's somebody who is seeing. So if the thing I see is made up of existence, what the seer will be made up of? Also, existence. Nothing but existence. And when I realize that I'm dealing with an infinite expanse of existence, existence, well, the same light which has taken on the form of the hero, the same light has taken on the form of the villain in the movie. In the very same way, the same light of consciousness on our Sat, the same Sat has taken on the form of all good thoughts and also all bad thoughts. All what you call pleasant, prasanna nama rupa, and all dushta nama rupa. Ram and Ravan. Same pure Sat. This thing is called in Bhagavad Gita as Dvandvatita. One goes beyond the pairs of opposite, because we say this one is divine and this one is dushta. This one is divine and this one is evil. But when we go to the deeper level and realize that both are made up of the same thing, then we say, oh, I transcend the pairs of opposites like that. And this is the goal of Bhagavad Gita actually. Sukha dukhe samay kritva labha labha jaya jaya tatho yuddhaye jasva nevam papam avapsasi. Arjuna, you maintain your equilibrium and balance in between these pairs of opposites, because it is the one pure self which is neither this nor that, which has taken on both forms. Right. So Bhagavan is introduced here this pair, and it is only a platform from where I start my understanding, like that. He himself, if you go down in the same chapter, he starts there, right? I'll chant some verses for you now. For those of you who have your Gita, this is number 13. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Neyam Yat Tat Pavakshyami Yajñātvāmritamashnuté.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Anādimatparam Brahma na satyam na saduchyate.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Krishna Kanaya Lal ki jai. Nyayam yattat pravakshyami. Nyayam means that thing which ought to be known. So what ought to be known? Really, it is the one substratum, the pure sat from which everything is made. That is the thing which has to be. No, this is a very interesting topic. This word also is fantastic. Nyayam. So I'm telling, if there were three things on the table, Nam elephant means name elephant, Rupa elephant, and clay. Out of these three things, only one is worth knowing. That is the idea. Because when I removed that one, the other two vanished. So that thing which is worth knowing, or that thing which ought to be known in Sanskrit language, in the Gita and the Upanishad, is called a Jnayam. Because see, if there is a snake on a rope, which one is worth knowing? The rope is worth knowing because the snake is only an apparition, means an appearance, isn't it? Abhasa roop, that thing is just appearing there. So the one which is worth knowing is really the rope. And if there is a snake and no rope, it is not worth knowing, and you run away from there. You cannot go and say, no, let me check, maybe it might be a rope, Anyway, so this first word is given, Bhagavan is calling it Nyayam, that which ought to be known. Do you know one more thing about this? I'll tell you. In Ramcharitmanas, there's a nice verse. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
माया आपन कहूँ जान कहिय सो जीवो राम जान कहिय सो जीव बंद मोक्ष प्रद सर्व पर माया प्रेरक शिव सिया
वर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम
पवन
सुत हनुमान की जय
उमापति
महादेव की जय
बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियावर रामचंद्र जय शरण. Tulsidas ji tells about the jiva. Jiva means you and I. Huh? And this is a very interesting thing. Maya isana apu kahu, jan kahiya so jeev. The jiva, you and I, we don't know anything about this world. We don't know anything about Paramatma. And worse yet, we don't know anything about ourselves also. If you really do some little bit of vichar about this thing, you will realize it is true also. About ourselves, we go to the psychiatrist to find out. Correct or not? That fellow went to the psychiatrist and knocked on his door. Psychiatrist opened the door. Come in. He said, what is the matter with you? That is what I came to find out from you. So he goes to somebody to find out about himself, isn't it? And if you see your own self, you'll realize there's so many things about myself which I don't know. And I'm talking about countless things. Huh? You have certain likes and dislikes and you cannot explain any of them. In the same house, the husband likes chapati and that other fellow likes puri. The other one likes puri, wife likes puri, and the husband likes chapati. Now, poor thing, she has to make both. And how you explain? What caused it? What is the root of it? Where it came from? Which lifetime? What you practice? We don't know. So simple thing also we don't know. And if you're an ordinary person like me, I don't know where my liver is, I don't know where my spleen is, kidney and all that. What to talk about, I don't know where it is. I don't know if I have any also. They tell like that I have. The doctors tell. That's why you should never ever argue with a doctor. That fellow has inside information, So, really about my own self, there are so many countless things which I don't know. All my thoughts and past and karma and sanchita karma and agami karma, this thing and prarabdha karma. I don't know. My prarabdha karma may tell tomorrow I lose a leg. Correct? Prarabdha karma can tell that thing. How I'll know? So the jiva doesn't know anything about himself. Then Bhagwan Ram is telling to Lakshmana this thing. The jiva also doesn't know anything about his jagat. Jiva, Jagat. He doesn't know anything about Jagat also. Science also doesn't know. Science goes on changing theory every 10 years. Correct or not? First, when we used to go to school, they used to tell the light doesn't bend. Light doesn't bend. Light travels in a straight line. Nowadays, if it finds enough gravitational force somewhere, it will bend. So you go on changing it. And every day they go on changing. Now, half the scientists are telling there was no such thing as a Big Bang. And half say there was a Big Bang. Many people are arguing against it. They'll come up with good theories and all. So like that, we really don't know anything about this universe also. Oh, well, we don't know about ourselves. We don't know about this universe. What to talk about? Paramatma. That is a very difficult thing. Right? Now I'll tell you one more thing. Why you cannot know about this universe. It is not possible. Because of a simple reason. The simple reason is, this universe and Prakriti is called as Vyaya Prakriti. Vyaya means all the time changing. And the instrument by which you are knowing is also changing. One changing thing, how it will know another changing? By the time you know, that thing has changed. And if you catch a piece of knowledge, then you also have changed. That is why they say, when people get into any problem and they want to take information, take it right away. Because this is now, they are doing this thing. They say, you come back 20 years later to ask that fellow, you had a shark attack, no? A shark attacked him by the beach. 20 years later, you take all the information today. And you come back after 20 years and you again take information from that fellow. He adds so much masala. We go on adding and subtracting and all that sort of thing. 20. And all research is showing this thing now. It means to say, he also has changed. And now that those same facts, they are represented differently in his mind. So it is not possible to know something which is changing. You may know it temporarily, but by the time you get to know it, it is already changed. Vyaya Prakriti it is called. Vyaya. So now I'm telling all about this world, and out of these three things, which is the one which is worth knowing? Everything which we see with our senses and experience with our senses, those things are changing every moment. And those are all nama rupa. But the substratum, the existence, in this case the clay, because in school they used to give it a play dough, na? You can make an elephant, and again you make a ball with the elephant, and then you make a dog, again you make a ball, and make a cat. But let me tell you something, that play dough will always be there. You can dissolve this one and dissolve that one and dissolve, but you will still remain with play dough. In the same way, this universe is made up of that one Sat, and you can make any name and form out of it, and the name and form will dissolve, but you cannot do anything to Sat. You cannot do anything to that unchanging substratum, which is called as Adhishthan, Adhar of the whole universe. We can't change it. It will remain same only. So that is the thing which is worth knowing. That thing is called Nyayam. The others are not worth knowing, and not only worth knowing, the others cannot be known. And when we see scriptures like this, and then we go out in the world, we hear this thing all the time. Swamiji, you know this husband of mine, I can never figure out that fellow. Huh? I can never figure out that. Actually, somebody was asking me somewhere, they say, I have to marry this same person for 7 lifetimes. Have you heard? To marry the same person for 7 lifetimes? Swamiji, how do I know this is the first or this is the 7th? People ask all sorts of nice questions and all, and I tell you. I told, look here, if you hear one spouse telling, this person, I can never figure him out. I can never figure her out. That is first lifetime. If you hear them saying, before he even speaks, I know what he's going to say. That is number 7. Yes. Anyway, but this thing is the thing which is worth knowing, because the other things not only are not worth knowing, they also cannot be known. This is called a Jnaya. And I tell you, if you really come to know the pure existence in this universe, then we come to know ourselves. Because what am I made up of? That only. Jnaya yattar pravakshyami yajñatva. Bhagavan says, if we know this thing, yajñatva amritam ashnute, that we will drink of bliss, bliss, bliss only. If I come to know this thing. And in this world, that is what we are trying to do. I'm telling you, Jiva only has one problem. Jiva does not have multiple problems. Jiva does not have this problem, that problem, the other problem. All things, all problems of a Jiva is only tied to one thing. That thing is called dukkha. What is that? Dukkha. If anything in this, if I broke my leg and I got sukha, I will break my leg every day. The only problem we have is dukkha. Not a single problem otherwise. When somebody insults me, I get dukkha. When I get pain, I burn my finger, I get dukkha. When I get disappointed, I get dukkha. When somebody leaves me, I get dukkha. Well, it depends. I may get sukha alone. I get sukha also. So, one problem he has. All we have to do is now, we really just have to trace the genesis of that problem. And the genesis of that problem is very simple also. What? I do not know this one reality which I am. No, I use a very simple word. I do not know. That I do not know is called in English as ignorance. That ignorance is called in Sanskrit as ajnana, avidya. So what is the genesis of the problem then? Ajnana, avidya. So you hear saying that all the time. And please remember, ajnana, avidya is like darkness. If you come into this room and the room is pitch dark, all you have to do is turn on the light. You don't have to produce anything in this room. You don't have to bring chairs and tables and everything is already there. All you have to do is turn on the light and you will know that everything is already there. When we turn on the light, what it does, turning on the light only removes the darkness, and all that is there is revealed all by itself. In the very same way, I just have to remove this ignorance from my mind, and when I remove that ignorance with Shastra Gyan, what we are doing today, when we remove this ignorance, the self is already there. Sat Chit Ananda is already there. Please remember this thing. Huh? The purpose of Shastras is not to bring Sachitananda to you. The purpose of Shastras is not to bring God to you. Purpose of Gurus and Mahatmas and saints and sages and Sampradayas and all of this, that is not to bring God to you or to bring you to God. Are bhaiya, the purpose is to make you realize you never left God. We never left and went anywhere. Paramatma, Sachitananda is all pervasive, always there, eternal, beginningless and endless. None of it is to bring anything to anybody. It is to remove the ignorance which makes me think that Bhagwan is in Kashi, you know. He's in Mathura, Vrindavan. Bhagwan is here and now. So it's to remove the ignorance to make me realize that he has never left me and I have never left. Not only that, Surdas once challenged Bhagwan Shri Krishna. What happened? Bhagwan Shri Krishna went there to play with Surdas. So Surdas was blind. So Bhagwan went there. Surdas said, "Oh, Bhagwan, you came." Bhagwan says, "Surdas, how do you know? You're blind now. How did you know I came?" Arey, wherever you go, I know Radha is following. And I heard her anklets. Ching, 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 ching. So I know you must be here and only. And Surdas tried to grab Bhagwan when he said that. And Bhagwan jumped back. Again he tried to grab and Bhagwan jumped again, back. And then Surdas stopped and said, "Acha, theek hai, you're jumping back, eh? You're trying to escape me. I want to see if you can come out from my heart. Try. Try." He cannot come out. Bhagwan, Surdas immediately went to the all-pervasive aspect, which is Sat of Paramatma. You cannot come out from Sat, and Sat cannot come out from you. So now you go on reflecting on this thing called as Sat. Bhagwan says, when that happens, Amritam Ashnute, Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva. You revel and dance in bliss only. Happy and joyous all the time. This reality is called Anadimat Param Brahma. Anadimat. Anadimat means it is beginningless. All these words have so much of implications. It is amazing. Beginningless. It is also limitless, endless. Beginning. And in Sanatan Dharma, and all of you who are adherents of Sanatan Dharma, I want you to pay attention to these basic and fundamental teachings of Sanatan Dharma. Let me tell you one more thing. Tell you a little bit about history. The British came into Bharat and they hired a fellow by the name of Max Muller to really translate all our Shastras and all of that for us, right? So Max Muller was a German man. Now see the complication with all of this. Max Muller is German. He is going to study Sanskrit and he's going to translate into English. That itself is a whole big complexity right there. because there are so many things which are lost in translation. You know that. But the biggest problem was this. Max Muller is a Christian, pure Christian, who comes out from the German Christian background. And in Christianity, there are certain concepts and ideas about cosmology which alone he knew. So when he encounters a word in Sanskrit which deals with cosmology, Hindu cosmology, he only is limited to the concept which he has come with from Germany. And this thing caused all of us to think like Christians. We have nice Hindu shells, but pakka Christian concepts, you know. Now I'll just give you a simple example. Max Muller encountered the word Srishti, and he encountered another word called Pralay, and he encountered Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. All of these words he encountered. He had never seen any of this thing, right? And the word Srishti and Srishtikar he translated as creation and the creator, and here Brahmaji is the creator. And on this side, Pralay is destruction, and the one who destroys the universe is Shiva. And all of us learned that or not? That's what we learned. But Max Muller does not have any other concept in his mind because he is not a Hindu. He is a Christian. Now, I'm not talking about anything, telling about anything, anybody, religion is wrong or this type of thing. I'm telling you that if you're going to translate one language into another language, and that other language which you are translating, you don't have the concept itself, then you are limited from the beginning itself. So now, what happened? Srij, which is the root for Srishti, Srij Dhatu in Sanskrit, does not mean to create. Where he comes from, there was a god sitting, and the god was, I don't know what happened, maybe he was lonely or something, that fellow. And then he said, I am all alone, you know, Bapre, I've been here alone for so long, I better start creating some. Yeah. So he started creating a world and this thing and that thing, and that is where he comes from. But that thing is not there in Sanatana Dharma. Totally absent. But then he translated Srij and Srishti and Srishtikar as creator and creation, like that. Because that is the only concept that he knows. Words like this come all over the Upanishad, Gita, everywhere, which tells what? Anadimat. This thing is beginningless. And in Sanatana Dharma, Jiva, Jagat and Jagadishwara all are Anadimat. Beginningless. No, the word beginningless means nobody created it. It has always been there. So, he translated as creator and created and creation, and we have all of these words now. But here Gita is telling what? This Paramatma, this Sat, Satchitananda, the reality, the substratum of this universe was never created by anyone at any time. Second thing is, this whole Jagat, which we are seeing in front of us, is also Anadi. That is why in the 8th chapter he describes very nicely, you know, there's way past this thing. He says, all things at the pralay time dissolve and stay in a state that's called as avyakta, and avyaktad vyaktaya sarvaha, and then again all things start manifesting. So the whole universe is always there, either in a state of vyakta or avyakta, manifest or unmanifest. And these are the basic and fundamental concepts of Sanatana Dharma, not creation. That is why Bhagavan is telling to Arjuna, see, a very famous verse all of you know. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna,
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
Natvevaham yatunasam.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
Natvevaham yatunasam.
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna. Tvam nimi janani pam.
Jai Shri Krishna,
Jai
Jai
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hare Krishna.
It's not fitting in my tune so good. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadhipa. My dear, Bhagavan starts his teaching like this. There was never a time when you were not. There was never a time when I was not. And there was never a time when any of these kings were not. We have always been there and we will always be. All of these things refute very clearly the idea of creation in Sanatana Dharma. So, we have always been there. Now, after some time, some years, I will become unmanifest. And then I will again manifest somewhere. And the whole universe is going on like this, cyclically, manifestation to unmanifest, manifest to unmanifest. This is Sanatana Dharma. And now, see, next time you meet any Swami and you ask, Swamiji, why Bhagavan made this world? Which question you are asking? You are asking a Christian question. Correct or not? You get it all the time. Because we just told it is there either in manifest form or on. And the same thing, when he made it, and when he made the first man, and the first and first and first. Totally illogical thing. This word refutes all of that. Creation is totally illogical. Are look here, I'll tell you how it is illogical. Now you follow me a little bit. Huh? Follow a little bit. Let us just assume really Bhagavan made the world, created the world. See this. So we will have to say that there was a time when there was no world, and there was a time when he created this, correct? Because the act of creation can only happen at a point in time. And there has to be a prior and there has to be a subsequent. Right? So now you are invoking time. But time is part of the world. So then we ask, oh, you mean time was there already? And you say, oh yeah, what is the problem? Time was there already. Okay, time was there. Then you ask now, second question. Then who created time? Bhagavan only. What's the problem? Then you ask now, at what time? You're back to square one, nah? You're back to square one. Logically, I'm telling. If he created time, if he's creating time, that's just like creating any other thing that has to happen at a point in. Illogical. So therefore the rishis rejected this long ago, long millennia. Right. So this word anadimat, when we say this Paramatma, this Satchit Ananda is like this, without beginning, also Anadi Ananta. You have heard these words so many times. Beginningless and endless. The whole universe is like that in Sanatana Dharma, and it's called as Brahma. Paramatma is called as Brahma, the most expansive, infinite being in this whole universe. Brahma. And now the next phrase is wonderful. Nasattan nasaduchyate. In this, it is not called as Sat nor Asat. Well, there are many ways to understand this, but this is simply, you have to think that in our limited mind and intellect, we are giving the fundamental reality a name, what we are calling it? Sat. But something which cannot be conceived of by our faculties. None of our faculties can really conceive an infinite thing because our faculties are finite. So, in our finite way, we call it Sat. But really speaking, from its own standpoint, it has no name also. Anama. Tulsidas also writes this in Ramcharitmanas. The reality has no, even though he's the greatest exponent of the name of Ram. He said that reality has no name. And that is from the highest standpoint. But you don't have to worry about that. The word is coming like that. Sarvatapani padam tat. So many words are given to point our mind in the direction of an infinite reality pervading the entire universe, from which the whole universe is fashioned. Like everything on that screen is fashioned from one pure light. So everything in this universe is fashioned from pure existence. And I am that existence. Uddalaka is telling his son, Shvetaketu in the Chandogya, my dear boy, you are that. Tattvam Asi. You are that pure existence. It cannot be. We are very good at excluding ourselves. Human beings are very good at excluding themselves. At the wrong time also. We come inside this room and we look inside. There's nobody. We say, oh, there's nobody here. I excluded myself. When we come in the room and there's nobody there, we say, oh, there's nobody here. So we exclude our. So we say, this is Sat, this is Sat, the space is Sat, everything is Sat, everything is existent, and I forgot myself. That is the most important step. The most important step is to equate myself with the existence, which is all pervasive. If that equation is not made internally, I have missed the point of the whole Shastra. I have become a scholar. That is the difference between a scholar and a saint. The scholar knows all about the Sat and all that kind of thing very well. He can tell you everything and give you the whole dissertation. But a saint is the one who knows that he is that Sat. That is the difference. All right. So, like this now, I reflected with you today on Sat. The same type of reflection can go on now with Chit. And the same type of reflection can go on with Ananda. But look here. We only need one. You don't need to sit in 3 cars to get here. You will get here by sitting only in one. So if you don't like Sat, no, Swamiji, I don't like this word Sat, then reflect on Chit. But I have to give another lecture for that. Or reflect on Ananda. But today it was like that. So, that Sat is inside all things. Bahirantascha bhutanam acharam charamevacha. It is inside, outside. It is near and far. And the scripture means it is both at the same time. I told you, it is Ram and Ravan at the same time. So like that is the scripture goes on to describe so wonderfully. All words that require so much of vichar. All right. I hope that you have collected a few thoughts for your mind to reflect on. My time has gone away today. But this is the kind of thing which is there in the 3rd section of Bhagavad Gita. I told you this is Jnana Yoga. In the 3rd section of Bhagavad Gita, this type of thing is going on. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is already gone in the 2 previous sections. All right. Okay. So now I will stop